What's up, y'all? Hope y'all doing good, and welcome to a new episode of Wrestling with Rumors. So, before we get into everything that is Wrestling with Rumors, as I like to do for every episode, is to remind everyone that the rumors that I am about to read are exactly what they are. They are rumors. We can speculate as wildly as we want with these rumors, but until they are proven as fact or we see it happening on television, with whatever we're watching when it comes to professional wrestling, and they confirm it for that, um, they remain what they are, rumors. So, with that said, let's dive in. Matt Jackson claimed on his YouTube channel that someone high up in AEW approached him about bringing back Being the Elite. He also claimed there have been talks about doing a BTE movie. Now, as far as someone high up in AEW, the first name that comes to mind is Tony Khan. I'm sure there are many other names in the higher ups of AEW, but as far as first name that comes to mind is Tony Khan. And my curiosity about a BTE movie, if that's something that actually goes into motion and becomes something that we can all watch, I am curious enough to want to watch that movie if it actually happens. During an interview on the two-man power trip of wrestling, Jonathan Coachman said he knows for a fact, quote it, that The Rock doesn't get along with Triple H and they are always butting heads. For a fact, he says. So how does he know that for a fact? Is he basing that off of information from his time in WWE? Does he have someone on the inside that is feeding him that information for him to know that for a fact? Remember, like I said, every rumor that I read it here is what they are. They are rumors, and we take them at a grain of salt, and we speculate as wildly as we want, and that is exactly what that one is, rumor. So we speculate as wildly as we want. We take it as far down the rabbit hole as we can go with it. Coach said he has really good intel close to the situation that indicates there is a big power struggle going on behind the scenes in WWE. For whatever it's worth, Coachman thinks Triple H will not be running WWE anymore within 18 months. Two things about that. A couple of things I'll say about that as well. I'll go back to my previous one is, how do you know that for a fact? How do you know that with your really good intel? Do you have someone on the inside? I'd be curious to know. And 18 months is quite a while, quite a ways. We'll see where we're at in 18 months with WWE and Paul Triple H Levesque. But I don't intend to look 18 months ahead of time. I intend to just stay in the moment and enjoy what we are seeing on a Monday, on a Tuesday, on a Friday, and the occasional weekend when it comes to WWE. But if it is true, if it does tend to be true and we get to 18 months and Triple H is no longer with WWE and that's it and someone else takes over, I will just say that I would say thank you to Triple H if that is true. But in the meantime, I'm not going to, in the meantime, I'm going to just stick to the questions that I asked and we're going to move forward. Wrestling Observer Radio's Dave Meltzer says AEW and WBD, Warner Brothers Discovery, are doing an experiment with broadcasting Collision on different nights, like Wednesday or Thursday. Meltzer said if the show does well on Wednesdays after Dynamite, then, and it's quoted, we're going to get more of it, end quote. Even though four consecutive hours of programming is too long. So it sounds like that the 4 hours, which is the combination, the 4 hours on Wednesday of both Dynamite and Collision, seems to be something they're going to do more of. I mean, we had Firefest, and now we've got this big summer thing that they're going to be doing this coming week with another 4 hours. I would say instead of doing 4 hours, I would say Dynamite on Wednesday night and Collision Thursday night. Do that. I mean, because it's because they Thursday seems to work as far as ratings go for Collision. It seems to work there. So I would say it's not constantly keep doing the 4 hour pay-per-views. I mean, for special occasions, yeah, hit that 4 hour mark. But as far as normal times in between, Dynamite Wednesday night, Collision Thursday night. I think fans will like that a little bit more. But it's just me that's saying that. In recent weeks, there has been a lot of speculation regarding which company Cedric the Entertainer, Cedric Alexander. I don't know why I said Cedric the Entertainer. You know, I think it is because early this morning I was in a rare kind of mood and I just wanted comedy. So I threw on a classic, the original Kings of Comedy, and Cedric the Entertainer gets me no matter how many times I've seen it, gets me every time. So I think I had Cedric Entertainer in the back of my mind when I meant Cedric Alexander. So let me run it back again. In recent weeks, there has been a lot of speculation regarding which company Cedric Alexander would sign with next. Many believe that AEW made the most sense due to the Hurt Syndicate being one of the top acts in the company right now. But it appears that might not be happening at all. According to Mike Johnson, a PW insider, he's heard a lot of recent talk that TNA Wrestling is interested in working with Alexander, with some of the belief that he'll be starting with the company shortly. Now, this past weekend on Friday, there was Against All Odds. He did not show up at Against All Odds, but moving forward, that I could see Cedric Alexander going to TNA over AEW, and I feel like one of the reasons that would possibly stop Cedric Alexander from going to AEW is his wife Swole that had some beef that goes back a ways with AEW that would probably keep him from wanting to go to AEW. Possibly. That could possibly be one of the reasons that would have him choose TNA over AEW. Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp indicates that AEW was originally planning to book FTR versus Adam Copeland and Christian Cage at All In Texas. However, it sounds like there was an issue with turning Christian babyface, as he apparently wants to continue doing the patriarchy gimmick a while longer. Now, I brought this up yesterday on really quick with Rumor of the Day, saying and what I said in that was how I thought that was. I think it's good that Christian is not going babyface, that he's wanting to stay with the patriarchy, because it's been some of the best work that he has done, especially as a heel, in quite a while, and it's just been a fun ride to watch it evolve and go through the motions that it's gone through for a while. And we're still waiting on Killswitch to make his return, but yeah, Christian going babyface to team up with Adam Copeland. I mean, for Christian and Adam Copeland to once again team up, bring a little nostalgia to the Edge and Christian days, is something I know a lot of us want to see, especially before either one of them or both of them hanging up. And I'm hoping that we get there eventually. But for now, what Christian is doing as a heel with the patriarchy is some great work, and I'm not ready to see it end either. So let's move into a few things that I wanted to talk about. First up, it was announced at SmackDown that the King and Queen of the Ring tournament is back. I am excited for this. The tournament begins this Monday on Raw. It'll start with 4 fatal 4-way matches from both the men and the women, and then the winners of those fatal 4-way matches will qualify to the next round, and those next rounds moving forward will then be co-branded single matches for both the men and the women. Where it all culminates is at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, where the winners of those matches will then go on to SummerSlam and face their respective champions. So I'm excited for that. I felt like I was about to sneeze. Hold on. I was right. I was going to sneeze. All right, so let's talk about it. This past weekend was a great weekend. It was a really great weekend. It started on Friday. We had both SmackDown. And we both had TNA Worlds Collide. Trick Williams walks out once again, TNA champion. I had a feeling he was going to retain. I believe this is going to happen, that when he does end up losing that TNA championship, it'll probably happen at one of their bigger events like Slammiversary, which is coming up in a couple of months. So I'm thinking it's going to happen there. SmackDown was a good time, and it was the final SmackDown before Money in the Bank and Worlds Collide. So let's get into that. Worlds Collide. First big event that was that featured since their acquisition of AAA Lucha Libre Worldwide. And Worlds Collide did not disappoint from start to finish. Worlds Collide was a great time. I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed every single match on the card. That main event for the AAA Mega Championship, Vikingo versus Chad Gable. That, wow. You know what I mean? Wow. That was a great match. Then we get into Money in the Bank. And Money in the Bank from start to finish also was a good time. You know, honestly, Saturday with Worlds Collide starting at noon and going into the afternoon, like 2:30, and then going from there into Money in the Bank, which took us into the evening. That was a great time. Good time. Money in the Bank did not disappoint. Worlds Collide did not disappoint either. Worlds Collide set it off right. And then Money in the Bank closed it out good. Closed it out perfect. Money in the Bank, the 2 ladder matches. Naomi, Money in the Bank winner. So happy for her. Glad she got that win. Definitely the right woman won that Money in the Bank. Seth Rollins was more predictable, I would say, in knowing that it was going to be Seth Rollins that was going to win. It just felt like they were telling us, and that we need to believe them when they say this is what's going to happen. When I say they, I mostly mean Paul Heyman. I think a lot of people were expecting Roman Reigns to show up and maybe somehow screw Seth Rollins out from winning the Money in the Bank contract. But there was no there was no Roman Reigns. Now, there was a rumor I read not too long ago that said that Roman Reigns is expected to possibly return around June, and here we are in June, and there's still no Roman Reigns. There's still a few weeks left in June, so it is still possible that Roman Reigns might show up sometime this month on most likely Raw. But we'll just have to wait and see on that. Becky Lynch, third time's the charm. Or is it third time's the charm? No, it's second time. Yeah, in the second time's the charm. I don't know why third time's the charm. I think I say third time's the charm because because Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch faced each other 3 times. And all 3 times a championship was on the line, whether it was the NXT championship or now the Intercontinental Women's Championship. But in their third match, Second time with the Women's Intercontinental Championship on the line, Becky Lynch gets the win. Granted, she held the tights to get the win, but Becky Lynch is doing what she needs to do that is necessary to get the W, and that's what she did. And now now she is a Women's Intercontinental Champion. So good on her. And the main event, there was quite a few matches that happened at Money in the Bank, but I'm sure everyone today is still talking about what happened in that main event between Logan Paul and John Cena versus Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. And it's not really about the match itself. It's more about what happened towards the end of the match. And what happened towards the end of the match was R-Truth or Ron Killings. R-Truth, Ron Killings made his return, or did he? Was he ever really released from the company, or was it all part of the story that they were working on us? Did WWE work us and plant this story that with R-Truth getting on social media saying that he was released, not telling anybody, including the roster, leaving people to believe that R-Truth would actually let go, and then let everyone go through this spiral and put out the hashtags "We Want Truth" and just say everything they were going to say, and that they just gambled thinking that that the fans cared enough to actually throw out that tweet. We do not know. Nonetheless, Truth comes in, puts down John Cena, gets the WWE Championship, hits John Cena with the WWE Championship, with the assist for Cody Rhodes to hit the Crossroads and get the win over John Cena, pinning the WWE Champion. So what this looks like moving forward, I am very curious, and I am very excited, and he's not on Raw. I think he's either, I can't remember if he's still on Raw or if he's now on SmackDown, because the last time we saw R-Truth was on SmackDown. SmackDown. I would assume we would have to wait till Friday before we hear from R-Truth, if we do hear from R-Truth. Although, is it Ron Killings? Is R-Truth are we not in the R-Truth portion of this? Is it that R-Truth was released but Ron Killings was not? You see what I mean? Because WWE put out a tweet, put it all out through social media that Ron Killings is here, and then put out a shirt, which I retweeted on X. But nonetheless, it kind of makes you think, is it Ron Killings or is it R-Truth? I think a lot of the questions that we have, some of them will get answered, and the rest, we're just going to have to allow them to cook and watch it play out. But that was a turning point. Expect the unexpected. During Money in the Bank, when it was announced that WrestleMania 42 is returning to Las Vegas. They're going to run it back. They're going to do back-to-back years of WrestleMania. Now, I will say this about WrestleMania. I know people are going to say what they need to say and get out their feelings about it, and how they feel about WWE having to cancel New Orleans to go back to Las Vegas. And everyone is going to have feelings about it and say what they're going to say. Let me just put this out in the universe here on my YouTube channel, that this is not the first time that WWE, or at the time WWF, WrestleMania has gone back to back in the same city. It goes all the way back quite a ways. 1988 and 1989 for both WrestleMania 5 and 6 was the last time that WrestleMania went back to back in the same city. It was in Atlanta City. And it was in Donald Trump's casino at the time. It was right after, and it was right before it went bankrupt and stuff. But yeah, it was WrestleMania 5 and 6 was held in Atlantic City in Donald Trump's casino at that time in 88 and 89. So this is the first time in a long time that WWE is going back to that, to do back to back WrestleManias in the same city. Hopefully, WrestleMania 43, we're looking at a different city like London, like Vegas. I mean, sorry, not Vegas. Like London, like New York, like New Orleans. Those are just three that are throwing out there. But hopefully it's in a different city for WrestleMania 43. Hopefully. I mean, the good news is we at least know where Money in the Bank is going to be next year, and that's New Orleans. So New Orleans is getting Money in the Bank, but hopefully in the near future, WrestleMania does go to New Orleans. If not 43, maybe 44 or 45. We will see. But just wanted to throw that out there. This is not the first time that WWE has gone back to back with WrestleManias. Last time was 88 and 89 for WrestleMania 5 and 6. And here we are. They're doing it again for 42. For 41 and now 42. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Two other things that I just want to say. One of the things I'm going to read that I wrote a while ago that was in my head. I just want to get that out there. Okay. What's great about pro wrestling is not the actual wrestling that happens in the squared circle. The actual wrestling is good, and at moments, sometimes in unexpected moments, the actual wrestling can be great. But what makes pro wrestling, no matter the promotion, the company, is the stories that are being told. When you are patient and allow the story to cook, that's when some of the best storytelling is told in and out of the squared circle. Personally, I love WWE. I enjoy AEW. But like life, eventually everything in pro wrestling changes. When you look as far back to when pro wrestling started, and you start from that point, and you go from decade to decade, from generation to generation, it changes and it evolves. The wrestlers that were there eventually stand aside and allow new talent to come in, and so on and so forth. It happens in every wrestling promotion. Sometimes it doesn't happen right away. Sometimes it happens step by step by step, but eventually everything changes. When you look at WWE, you look at how it changed through the years, the Rock and Wrestling, to the new generation, to the Attitude Era, to the ruthless aggression era, to the PG era, to the, as a lot of people are calling it, including Michael Cole, the Paul Levesque era. But I'm sure there will be a different name for that era when that era is eventually over. You look at AEW, it's the same thing. From the time they started, from the time they got off the ground and started, they have slowly made changes throughout. I mean, they're still within they're still growing. You know, they're a tree that's going to grow into a giant oak eventually, but they're still growing. But it happens in every promotion. There are changes that happens, and it's a good thing, because it's good to watch the company evolve and get better over time. But I just really wanted to say that. I really wanted to express that things change, and the things that change are usually the things that we have no control over, and all we control is our reaction. But I just really want, I just had to say that what I just read, I really just wanted to get that out. Anyway, I feel like anyway, one other thing that I wanted to ask all of you, sorry. Here's my question to all of you, and leave it in the comments, and Leave your thoughts of this question in the comments. Did WWE just work all of us with R-Truth? And is this R-Truth, or is this former NWA champion Ron Killings we're getting? Those are my questions that I'm gonna leave that I have for you. So leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think. I apologize if towards the end of this, if I got a little stuttery or a little awkward. I apologize. I always have a hard time trying to move on to the next thing sometimes, but I'm working on it. But that'll do it for Wrestling with Rumors. I appreciate all of you for watching, for listening, for supporting the channel. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of today's episode. And leave a comment if you want to answer this question at the end about R-Truth or Ron Killings. But I appreciate all of you, and love what you love, and keep moving forward. And regardless of what anyone says, allow the hate to be what it is, but don't let it stop you or slow you down from doing the thing or things that you love to do. I appreciate all of you. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you on the next one. Peace, y'all.